Welcome to this week in the Katy, Fulshear, Richmond, the weekly social. Today we have Ron Wilsher here, and I want to give a big shout out to everybody. A big thank you for supporting us. We had 500 plus views last week, and we're on target to hit 1,000 plus. So thank you for watching and supporting us. It's everything Katy, Fulshear, Richmond. So Ron, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, it's an honor to come and talk to you. You gave me a call the other day, and I didn't even know what the heck was going on, but I said yes. And mainly because I like you, so now that I figured out I get an opportunity to talk, that's even better. So I think that's what I was born to do. Anyway, my name's Ronald Wilsher. I am the lead instigator at Wilsher Media Group, where we comfort the disturbed and we disturb the comfortable. We do a lot of fun things. I have a podcast. I have a publishing company. Maybe we'll talk about. I do a lot of things online. You know, the Al Gore thingy that he invented, years ago. So just whatever's fun and makes money. Yeah. And as you know, I teach CE classes for realtors. I taught one for you. I teach for all the new home builders in town.
Highly recommend going to one of his classes.
Well, thank you.
It conveys a lot of great information.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you inviting me and having me on the show.
All right, awesome. We talk about a little bit of everything in the Katy, Richmond, Fulshear area. Food-wise, what's one of your favorite places to go eat at, and one of the dishes you eat there?
Well, Richard, when you talk about food, that's one thing that I am not real particular on. If it's food, I generally eat it, because the way I've always looked at it is, that's a very symbiotic relationship with the cook and the eater, and I don't cook. So I take my position and responsibility as an eater very seriously, because let's say you're a great cook and you don't have anybody to eat, that wouldn't make you feel very good, right?
I would be really overweight.
So I eat. So I like Willie Burger out in Old Town Katy.
Their bacon cheeseburgers are wonderful there. If you ever get a chance to check it out, and have you ever had their shakes? Their shakes are really
I have. I think it was strawberry.
Yeah. They use malt in their shakes.
Oh, it was really good. Yeah. I think I probably weighed 10 pounds more after I left, but maybe it was worth it.
Need to take a nap afterwards?
But no, I also like Harris County Smokehouse and Barbecue. There's not a lot of food that I will not eat, with the exception of anything raw. So just lots of good restaurants in Katy and Fulshear area, and new ones.
Barbecue. Have you been to Brett's Barbecue on Kingsland by the mall?
No, but I have a friend that has two other friends that I'll have to tell him about. He's probably been there. He goes to all of them and compares, and that's all they talk about. So
that's probably one of my favorites in the local area. Highly recommend Brett's Barbecue. They serve till they run out of food.
Oh wow!
So a great place to check out. What attracted you to Katy? I mean, you came a long ways.
Well, I'm originally from a little place in West Texas called Andrews, Texas.
Never heard of it.
It's about 30 miles due north of a little place called Odessa, Texas. Old country.
Been to Odessa.
Yeah.
That's the middle of nowhere officially.
Odessa, Midland, right? You remember when Jessica fell in the well? That was Midland, Texas.
Oh, wow.
And
that was national news.
Yeah, for 51 straight hours on CNN Live till they pulled her out. Anyway, in 1991, me and the mother of my son decided to move to Houston or Dallas. Yes. And Houston won out because her mom and dad lived here. And I haven't regretted it.
Decision.
Yeah, it didn't take long. That's where you want to go? Okay. But no, I love you, and I'm a big proponent of Houston and all the surrounding little cities. I actually live in Cypress, but I have a P.O. box in Old Town Katy.
Okay.
And so
Fourth Street.
Yeah, I just love Old Town, So
it's like walking back in time when you're in that section of the city of Katy.
And you can go, and you probably know this, Richard, but even when it's like really a lot of traffic out in Houston, you can go there and there's really not a lot of traffic. I love this place. So
well, in that little quadrant, there's no lights. I mean, it's all stop signs. You don't need lights.
Yeah, they haven't, not enough people there yet. But no, I like, as we were talking earlier, I like to support anything local. So if it's a small restaurant, coffee shop, anything, I like to go and support it.
Yeah, I try to support the mom and pops. I mean, the chains are the chains, but they're nationals. But you get the local flavor, the local vibe. And the mom and pops, I mean, that's the ones that are supporting your community, sponsoring the soccer teams and doing stuff like that.
Well, I look at it, if somebody had the courage and to risk their capital and go out and invest their sweat equity in a business, the least I can do is support it if it's any good,
Sure.
you know, and so I try to do that.
Which a lot of businesses do fail, unfortunately. So it's a challenge to get it up off the ground and running. Typically, when you get past year 3, you're in pretty safe waters by then. You weathered most of the storm.
So I'm going to ask you a question. Why do you brought it up? Why do you think most of them fail?
I don't think that they realize the true task at hand. And it's a marketing and sales position, and most people aren't that. They might have the greatest product in the world or the greatest plate in the world, but if nobody knows about it,
I agree.
that's the problem.
And I talk to people all the time in my classes, my speaking, my podcast, everything. It's about your people skills. So no matter what business you're in, it's about people.
Right.
I mean, oh, it's the corporation. No, the people. I was listening to. I watch a lot of videos on YouTube, and it said I made up this little. It's going to go in my next book. Attention in the creation economy. Attention is more valuable than talent.
It is.
So it's really, you talk about Joe Rogan, and he sells his podcast for $200 million. What, did he sell all this land and buildings and equipment? No, he sold eyeballs. He sold attention. I mean, he just sits there and smokes a joint and interviews people. But that's where the money's at. So what you're doing with this is very, very good.
I mean, there's people out there that are YouTube or internet sensations. They're sawing baseballs in half and just sawing everything in half.
It's attention,
It's
right?
attention, right?
So I think that's what most people don't understand, is they think you have to be highly skilled at a lot of things. Well, again, if you are highly skilled, I don't think that's going to hurt
That's
you.
even better.
But I don't think it's a requirement, right?
Action. The first thing you got to do is take action. You know, waiting for everything to be perfect. I mean, I hate to say it, but when somebody says, I want to make it perfect before I do it, you know, that's like saying procrastination.
Right.
That's when I hear procrastination. You know, put it out there. Is this video going to be perfect today? Absolutely not. But it's genuine.
But it's going to be pretty good with me and you on it.
That's
So. But no, I said that a lot. Action creates energy. And you can correct something, you can't correct nothing, right?
You got to get the flywheel
You got to
going.
get it going, right? The skill of the most skilled sculptor is rendered impotent without first a stone.
Right.
You got to start doing something, right? My dad used to always say, "Don't just stand there, son. Do something. Don't just stand there. Do something. Get moving." Right? So I applaud you and I watch a lot of your videos, by the way, that you send out weekly. So I applaud anybody that takes action.
You know, in doing videos, I do it because it's how do I convey Katy in an email or a phone call,
Right.
or Fulshear or Richmond, or when I have videos and I'm talking to people that live here, people get the substance of what's truly going on around them, and then on stats and stuff, this allows us to truly multiply what we're doing, because 500 views, how long does it take me personally to have 500 conversations?
A long time.
A long time. So it kind of automates and helps me get in front of more people that are craving this information, data, or whatever they're saying.
Well, I call it leverage. Leverage your intellectual capital, right? And now, because of the equipment we have now, the technology, I mean, what we're doing right now, do you know how much that used to have cost?
Oh, $10,000 plus dollars.
Yeah, it's really the capital barrier was there for most people, but now you literally can pick up a camera and go live and reach literally millions of people.
Absolutely.
And so I tell people that's what it's about now, especially after all we've been through the last few years. I think if you can simplify somebody's life, and if you can add some value, that human touch back, you're gonna rise above, because I think there's so many people out there that are on information overload. They're tired of being in the reactive mode, reacting to everything. You got to get out of that. You got to get in the proactive mode. Simplify your life. Have some fun.
Yeah,
You know.
life's too short. So, you know, books. Why would somebody write a book?
Well, I've been asked that a lot, and I started my book. I have a book titled Miscellaneous Ramblings from a Slightly Deranged Mind.
Which I do own a copy of that.
And I appreciate that very much.
Wonderful book. Go buy it.
Thank you. I wrote it mainly because I have a son. He's 33, 34. I know y'all are thinking I don't look that old, right?
He's getting older, you're getting younger, right? That's how it works.
I don't know what's going on here, but also now I have two little grandsons, John Mason and Luke Austin. One is 4 years new, the other one's 6 years new. So I tell people I'm currently learning the gospel according to John and Luke in a whole new way. But I wrote it mainly for them because I thought about it. How cool would it have been if my dad had written me a book?
Right.
And so basically what I did, I think and I talk in sound bites. So my book is just full of these little sayings. And I don't think I mentioned it earlier, but how I came up with the idea, I used to change my voicemail every day and put a little saying on it, right? And people would always call me. This was way before robocalls when you actually picked up your phone, And they said, Ronnie, don't answer your phone. We want to see what you've got on your voicemail today. And I'm like, man, there's going to be some money in this somewhere. So I actually came up with a book. And I've got T-shirts, I've got posters and all, but I think and I talk in little sound bites. And if you want, and you're good at this, Richard, if you want people to listen to you, learn, number one, slow down a little, and number two, talk in sound bites. And I'll give you an example. I have on the back of my book, attract and engage is better than chase and convince. And I have people all the time, Ronnie, I didn't bring your book with me this morning. What's that saying on the back? They're always, they want you to, and I spoke at the Fulshear Chamber. Dandy Don, how you doing, brother?
Great guy. Don,
super good
Shout out to you real quick.
I call it the Chamber of Don. It's the best chamber out there, in my opinion. Anyway.
Our local celebrity.
Hey, somebody's got to do it, right? Anyway, so when I talked to her, I had people call me, what was this little saying? What was this little saying? So I tell people, number one, learn to talk in sound bites. Slow down a little. But why would you, get back to your question, why would you want to write a book? I think what it does, I tell people, I don't think you have to be that good at what you do to be successful. If you do what you say you're going to do, if you look people in the eye when you talk to them, if you show up on time, those are not going to hurt you. But I think the main thing that you have...
That's so simple. It's advanced today.
Yeah, so people don't... Yeah, they think there's a secret, right? Now, I think if you do those things, it's not going to hurt you. But I think the main thing you have to do is you have to get out of the crowd where people can see you.
Hence marketing.
People
have to know
get out there, right?
What you do.
Right. Show up, stay in touch is what I tell people. Most people don't show up. And of the ones that do show up, most of them don't stay in touch.
Yeah.
And so I have something called my Way Cool friends list. I started it many years ago. And it's just people that are cool that I like to stay in touch with. And I cannot tell you how valuable that list has been to me over the years because it keeps me in touch with people, see? And so when I came up with the idea of this book, I think what it does is it takes you out of the crowd where people can see you.
Right.
And you must be seen to sell, and money follows action. So that's really the only reason I wrote the book. I own the publishing company, Wilsher Publishing. I've helped 3-4 other people write a book. It's not what I do full time. It's just something I do for fun. Yeah. But I told you, Richard, so I'm going to put it out right here. We're recording it, that you need to write a book. I know a little bit about your background, and it's very interesting. So I think you should write a book. So everybody...
I need to figure out how to get. I put thought into it, but my action stops there. It's just like, where do I start? And it's like you're seeing an ocean in front of you.
Yeah.
You know
well, and it's not that hard because I also have a book. I don't have it in paperback yet. It's online. It's called "Sell Like a Hooker, Sleep Like a Baby," and it talks about all the systems and everything that I use. So I think that's a good place to start. If you start online and just write it down. Now you don't have to worry about publishing and all that stuff. Right. And then once you get that pretty well done, then you can take it and publish it. So it's not that hard, but maybe we definitely should sit down and talk and make you become an author.
You know what? I'll try anything.
Well, that's another thing I've always liked about you is you take action, And it's like Og Mandino said in one of his books, The Greatest Salesman in the World, action alone will determine your value in the marketplace, right? Just go out and do something.
And be committed and be disciplined. You can't do it one time and expect monumental results.
Well, one of the things, and we have talked about this, I think, when I did that class for you, I talked about people, I think they focus on results way too much. Now, results are important, absolutely, obviously, but I don't think it's what you should focus on. What you do is you focus on the process, right? And so I have this saying in my book, it says, develop the discipline to trust, to work the system and trust the process.
Right.
The results will amaze you. And it's like, I heard not too long ago, Nick Saban, I don't know if you ever heard of him, he coaches this little college football team in a state over 2 or 3 called Alabama. I think they had like 6 national championships, right? Only. And you know, when you're successful, like you know this, Richard, people always want to know, what's your secret? So they're always asking him, how are you doing? He said, well, we don't focus on championships. He said, we focus on bringing the kids in and getting them good with our system and showing them how to do their job.
Right.
And if we do that, we're confident that we'll win championships.
And it works like a well-oiled machine.
And that's how it works. And so
right.
I've been, just to give you an example of that, this year, starting in January, and I don't know why we always wait till January. You can start whatever day it is. You can pretend
it's the hangover from the holidays. So you got to do something.
I've got about 6,300 contacts on my phone. And so I said, I'm going to call 10 of them every day. And all I'm going to do is just tell them, hey, I'm just simplifying my life, trying to say if I should stay in contact with you or disengage. You know, if you want to stay in contact with me, text me your email address. If not, and you don't remember who I am, just delete this message. You know, I've added almost 96 people I've added to my email list.
Oh, wow.
I scheduled 2 classes off of that, 2 CE classes. And the lady I went to last night, that was one of them.
Oh, wow.
You know, so it's amazing what will happen, Richard. And you know this because you're good with systems. It's just start the conversation. If you're not making the money you want to make, if you're not where you want to be, you're not starting enough conversations. So whatever system you got to have, start more conversations. This is a great way.
But when I launched my business, I spoke with a mentor, and I ran businesses for about 30 years. And the best piece of advice that I was given was focus on your process. Now, to me, I was thinking about, I got to get out and get in front of all these people at the marketing, which that is part of it, but you have to have a process that works start to finish. So I pick up that lead. Now, what am I going to market to them? Are the drip email campaigns, the phone calls? How am I going to actually work through this to make them a client?
Right. Well, the way I'm very simple-minded, and I try to keep everything real simple. So I tell people, start the conversation, but after you start it, then your goal is to keep it going as long as possible.
Right.
Because the longer you keep that conversation going, the more chance you have of them either buying something from you, or just as good a lot of times, recommending you to somebody.
And you're building relationships. That's what keeps you in business.
Right.
Most people are what I call transactional.
Right.
And they're focused on the outcome, but most of the time they have a crappy outcome because they have a crappy process.
Exactly.
And they always have what I call commission breath, and they're always chasing the next client.
Well, I call it they're always in the sales mode.
Yeah,
right?
they're on that treadmill
right.
doing 180 miles an hour because they didn't build anything.
Right.
They're smash and grabs, what I call it. They make this money on this transaction, and then move on to the next one. And it's not just real estate; it's all kinds of different. That applies to almost every business out there.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, and I tell people another thing that I'm really big on is I think one of the huge mistakes that people make, not just in real estate and just about any business, is they try to turn everybody they meet into a customer. And I think it's a huge mistake. There's a lot of people on my Way Cool Friends list that have never bought anything from me. And they send me people all the time. You know? Now, if I'd tried to turn them into a customer.
We call them brand ambassadors.
Yeah. And they're your tribe.
Yeah.
And I had this lady, as a matter of fact, I talked to her yesterday, that is one of my customers that came from a referral that this lady has never bought anything from me. But she said, hey, Ronnie, I met somebody. They need you. And so, I appreciate that very much. Thank you. I'll let you know how it goes. So stop trying to turn everybody you meet into a customer. Start the conversation first. A lot of people come up to me, and I don't know if you remember if I did this with you, Richard, but they go, Ronnie, you never told me what you do for a living. I'm like, yeah, you're right, I didn't. I don't go out and say whatever I do. I start the conversation and see. Because think about it, Richard, if you're not into former long-haired, loudmouth hippies, then it really doesn't matter what I do for a living, does it?
Well, it's talking with people, not at
Right.
people.
Just finding out what's going on. I mean, think about this. If I like you, does it matter what logo's on your card? If I don't like you, does it matter what logo? I mean, I call it the likability factor, right. See? So if I like you, statistically, I'm not going to buy anything from you, but if I like you, get me on your list, and man, I'll talk about you, because I got a big mouth, and I have a...
You said that, not me.
Well, it's just, I was born to talk, go to talkforcash.com. I think more people, and Berkshire Hathaway dude, what's his name, Warren Buffett?
Yes, sir.
He was talking about one of the most valuable skills you could ever learn, and it's one of the CE classes I teach for realtors, is learn how to be a public speaker and learn how to speak on your feet.
Communication.
Communicate. And most people are deathly afraid of it because they're always in the sales mode, right?
99% of the problems I have to solve all goes back to one word. Communication. Something wasn't communicated properly, or somebody misunderstood something.
Well, and I call it, Richard, keep it kindergarten clear,
yes.
Right? And I've never, back when I sold houses and now running my business for many years, I've never had anybody say, that was a great process, everything went well, Ronnie, but you communicated with me a little too much. You kept me informed a little too much. What really is the problem with most transactions?
They don't know where they're at.
They don't communicate. They leave people hanging. I cannot tell you the number of people. Oh, thank you, Ronnie. Thank you for letting me know. Thank you. Thank you for keeping me in the loop.
If your clients are calling you, that's a problem.
Something's wrong. It's like,
you should, for them to call and say, hi, what's going on, I get that. But if they're calling you to find out what's going on with the business transaction that you're doing with them, whether it's real estate or
whatever, right?
You need to identify that problem and you need to fix it.
Right. Well, I was one of the very first that I know of in Houston in 2001. I actually did something that was pretty revolutionary. I put my cell phone number on my business card.
That's back when it was expensive.
Okay, and so here's what happened.
There was no free minutes.
And the phone was like this big, right? Well, I put that on my card, and you know what happened? I had a lot of people that worked with me and go, Ronnie, I don't know, your customers are going to call you day and night. I'm like, you never call me. Why do you care when my customers call me? I'm like, well, they're going to make us do it now. Oh, that's really what you're afraid of. But I'll tell you a story.
The question behind the question.
And that wasn't a problem, right? Their issue. But I'll tell you something, Richard. In 11 years or so that I sold new homes, do you know, I always said, here's my phone. I carry my, back when before texting, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, you can call me any time of the day or night. This is a big transaction. I understand. If you have any issues, let me know. Call me any time of the day or night. I said, I probably won't answer between midnight and 3 a.m., but you can call me anytime. Do you know, in like 11 years that I sold new homes, I had 2 people call me.
I said probably less than 5.
Yeah, 2 people. One was feng shui, and the other one was, I forget what it was. But see, that's the other thing. If you let people know, if you keep them informed, they're not going to be on you all the time, right? If you let them know, they can call you. So I think it's one of the, even to this day, you probably see this. When I call back from the CE classes that I do, and I try to call realtors or call people I meet networking, either they don't have a voicemail message on their phone, or it's full, or they don't even have, I still occasionally run on, they don't even have a cell phone number on their card.
Oh yeah, I know.
It's like, if I wanted to give you money, how would I get a hold of you? And I've learned this about people because it's me. If I want to give you money, I'm not going to jump through hoops to find you. Okay?
Well, here's a problem that I run into, which I do run the Katy Network Business Networking, which is the largest in the West Houston, Katy area.
It's a cool one, and I love it.
Thank you. But I meet people, and they're like, oh, I don't do business cards, I'm digital. And I get it, digital has a time and place, but here's an idea, folks. I have thousands of people on my phone, just like you just said. I take a picture of it, I put you in my phone. Tomorrow morning, I have no idea.
You just
who
became
are.
a number.
That's right. I have no clue. Now, if I have a business card,
Separation.
now I can tie you into what I have.
Right.
But without that business card, I have no clue who you are.
Well, I
Now
call
I'll
it.
find you again.
I call it becoming memory friendly. So whatever you can do to get out of the crowd, right?
Right.
Same as Lane. Don't add to the noise, right? So whatever you can do that's a little different, do that,
Right.
Because that's going to help you get noticed.
Give them something that they can touch and hold on to. Business cards, they're not dated, in my opinion. They're
I
just
love
not.
I love my business card, because it has my picture on it, and I like looking at it. But no, let me say another thing about your groups that you do. I love those groups. You do one, tell us more about
We
that.
also do the Richmond Fulshear one, which we host that at the Brass Tap. We host two. One's Katy, and then one's Richmond Fulshear. Katy's the third Thursday of the month, and Richmond Fulshear's the first Thursday. It's 2 hours. It's open to the public. We're the networking group. There's no sign-in sheet. There's no fishbowl. There's no name tag. There's no elevator pitch. We don't charge a cover charge.
Just come but you got to be cool though.
You have to.
If you're non-cool, you can't come, right?
Well, we don't do the MLMs, which is multi-level marketing.
But no, it's fun because I tell a lot of people about it, and I missed the one last night because I was up in Katy or in Montgomery. But I try to make those every time. You do a good job with them.
On average, we hover between 60 to 80 people at those events.
Yeah.
So it's just, and I don't even talk about real estate there. I find out, oh, you do this? Okay, here, let me introduce you to this gentleman over here.
Start conversations, right?
Right.
Well, and we got to give a little shout out to Brandon.
Brandon
He's your
Green,
co-helper.
He's my wingman. He's a highly underpaid volunteer.
And he makes you look good.
Yeah, Brandon Green with Green and Associates. He does financial advising. He's rated one of the best in Houston, so check him out.
He's a cool dude.
Yeah, he's on the cool
He's
list.
the cool list, yeah. Well, see, that's another thing that I tell people, and I wish I'd have learned this a lot sooner in my life. I went to the doctor, this lady goes to the doctor one time and said, Doc, when I do this right here, it hurts a lot. And what the doctor said?
Stop doing that.
Stop doing that, right? That'll be $450, please. But no, I think so many people out there, they try to force everything, right? And if you figure out, it's really not that hard what we're doing, right? And if somebody asks you a question and you don't know the answer, I don't know is a perfectly intelligent and legitimate answer, right? And a lot of people think they have to be all things to all people.
You can't.
You can't do it, right? I mean, if I want to come and buy a house, Richard, from you, whether it be a used one or a new one,
Yes, sir.
probably what's one of the first things you're going to ask me? After we get all the niceties out of the way, right? What are you going to ask me?
Look, I want to know the area that you're looking at.
Yeah, or do you got any money?
Well, we'll work up to that, yes.
After I got all the niceties out of the way when I sold new homes,
Yeah.
one of the first things I wanted to know is, what are you looking to spend, right?
How are you going to take care of the purchase? Are you going to write a check for
You're
it?
a little more politically correct than I was.
Yes.
Because I'm like, so how much you want to spend?
You're a little brash.
I don't know what that means, Richard, but if it's good, I'm in. But no, it's
Very forward. That's what it means.
well, because that's just who I am, right?
That's right.
And I don't, I've never apologized for that. It's probably shut a few doors, but it's opened a lot more. But the bottom line is, we're in business, right? And if you're going to treat this as like you have an annuity, you might, and you treat it as a social club, that's okay.
Or
But if
501c charity.
if you're in business, you need to get, because I sold houses for $450,000 out there, and I'd have people walk in my house. How much you looking to spend? $200,000. Do I spend the next hour trying to talk them up to $450,000?
You can't.
That's not my customer. So I have in my book,
And that's okay.
it's okay, absolutely. I mean, but I have in my book is that if you'd like to greatly enhance the quality of your life, stop trying to sell filet mignon to vegetarians.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. Do you think the people that sell those little, like one sitting behind us, those fancy Toyotas they call Lexus, do you think they worry, those Mercedes, all that, you think they worry about the Toyota and the Nissan?
It's not their client.
That's not even in their world,
Yeah.
right? So why would they, but I think a lot of us, we try to be all things to all people. You can't, right? If you want to really increase your income, increase your fun level, lower your anxiety, really get particular on the criteria that your potential customer has to meet. If you do that, it's going to help you a lot.
Go narrow, go deep.
Right.
Identify and define your client.
Right.
You know, I operate our company with the 4 Ps. I have to have the right people in the company. I have to have the right people in front of us. And we have to have the right product, which is our service. And then the 4th P, that's the profit. If I have the first 3 right, number 4 takes care of itself.
Takes care of itself, absolutely. And like we talked earlier, it's all about people, you know? And so when I start conversations with people, I got to figure out if they're cool or not. If they're cool, I want to hang around them, whether they can buy something from me or not. Think about it. Have you ever had a customer that you wish you didn't have as a customer?
Yeah, well, we have the A, B, C, and then D customers, and D means delete.
Delete. Well,
some of my best deals I never did.
Yeah.
But everybody gets that client that's just, they're exhausted.
Right, and it's not worth it because you could be using all that time and emotional energy on somebody that gets it.
That wants to work with you.
That gets it, right? And they're just, you know, I had a guy one time, and it just shows you how this works. I was doing a little talk one time down south, and after it was over with, this guy comes up and gives me his card. He said, I want to talk to you. I said, great, I would love to talk to you. I said, but I can't do it now. I'm headed back north. This is way down NASA Road, down close to Galveston. Well, I actually did put his number in my phone because he seemed like a real nice guy. So he called me that afternoon, and I didn't answer the phone. I generally don't answer my phone unless you're one of my people that I like, or you're my son or my mother. That's generally what I'll answer. Other the time, I don't get real excited about running for the phone. But anyway, so I didn't answer the phone. So the next day, he calls me back. Well, I didn't answer the phone again, and I called up, you know who I'm talking about, the skinny blonde. And I said, you know, I probably should present this guy with an opportunity to give me some money. And so I met with him, and he bought one of my very large branding packages. And as he's counting out all the $100 bills to me, I counted, thank you, sir. I said, I have a question for you. I said, why did you hire me? He said, well, I said, I'll tell you, when I met you the other day, he said, I went home and told my wife, I said, honey, I met somebody this morning. I don't know what he's selling, but whatever it is, I'm going to buy it. He's still a customer to this day, 8 years later. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And so people buy you before they buy what you're selling.
Absolutely.
And we've talked about this before, Richard. I think that fundamental, why don't more people understand it? If I don't like you, I don't really care what you're selling. Even if you have what I want, I'll go find somebody that I like, right? But if I like you and I don't buy what you're selling, what am I going to do that's just as good? Man, I'm going to talk about you.
Brand ambassador.
Yeah, and just so I think if more people understood that, stop trying to be all things to all people. Slow down a little bit. It's okay to say no, and just chill out a little.
And do it for the right reasons. I mean, I have a passion in me. I want to help people. It's the largest financial decision the average person makes. That's special to me, and I get to be part of that. And that also fuels, it gives me resources for the other stuff that I try to do. Like next month, we're doing a blood drive on the corner of Winding Point and Pine Mill Ranch. So anybody that's out there that can you please donate blood, we are asking. We're trying to get 25 people there. That's an annual drive that we do. And it allows me to help push that forward. Last year we did that drive. We saved 54 lives, and all the blood was used by the same day.
Wow. So you'll make sure that's on your list so I'll know and I'll put it on my calendar.
Yeah, May 20th.
You mentioned that. Okay.
May 20th.
Well, what day is that?
It's a Saturday, and it runs from 8 in the morning till 12:30 in the
They'll have a
afternoon.
big old bus out there?
I got the motor coach. Everything's set up, ready to go. All you got to do is show up and put your arm out.
Well, it's something that, I think I used to not do it, and I don't know why, but for the last probably 10 years, I donate as often as I can. And I just got to thinking about it, what you just said. You're sitting there just taking a little time out of your schedule.
Yeah.
You could save, and you're probably going to save somebody's life.
Right.
I'm like, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And I call it adding value, right? So if you add value, you're going to get value back, right? So I think it's a great thing that you do.
Thanks. I mean, we also do the Alzheimer's Walk annually. We do a big fundraiser for CAPS Animal Shelter, Boys and Girls Country Orphanage, which you've helped with some of that over the years.
Yes,
we
sir.
do the drop-off boxes through the networking events. And I applaud and thank everybody that supports all that stuff that we do. And that's another reason why I support the local businesses, because the big nationals and the chains, they don't participate in any of that stuff in our local community. So, and all the local business owners, they all step up to the plate. So please support your local businesses.
Yeah, anybody, but like I say, it's all about going out there, starting the conversation, and instead of going to Starbucks, I go to something local,
Yeah.
right?
Have you been to Kona Coffee?
No, where's it at? No.
There's one on 1463 and Rosner. There's another one at I want to say it's Cross something in Cinco Ranch. Wonderful Hawaiian coffee.
I'll have to try it. I'm not a huge coffee drinker, but I like the smell because it reminds me of my dad. My dad drank coffee when I was growing up. But even though we, believe it or not, the cult wouldn't allow a coffee maker in our house. We never had a coffee. Isn't that weird?
That's how
But when we'd go to visit people, he would drink coffee. But it reminds me of him. But I like to go again, smell it, I'll drink it, but just to support them, you know.
Oh, wow. I drink a pot a day. That's probably my only advice.
That's all you need, right? So.
And I go from coffee to water.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. And again, but coffee doesn't affect me. I could drink, a whole deal of coffee and go to sleep. So caffeine doesn't affect me. So, but I
can do the same thing. I can drink a cup of coffee at 9 o'clock at night and then go lay down and go to bed.
Some people it bothers them, but anyway, it's So there was something else you were going to ask me. I forgot what it is now, but
I think we covered a lot.
I think we did. And
what if people want to connect with you and use your services? I mean, tell them a little bit, and we'll wrap up from there. How's that?
Ronald Earl Wilsher. It's ronaldwilsher.com. My phone number to my cell phone. This little
And
thing
you
here.
have to be a cool person to call him.
Well, you don't have to be a cool person to call me, but you have to be a cool person to get me to answer. But no, 281-395-1000. Yes, that's my number. People always ask me how I got such an easy number. Well, I'll let everybody in a little secret. I ask for it.
Yes, for it.
RonaldWilsher.com, 281-395-1000. I have one of the things that I'm huge on, and Richard does a great job, is building you a list. The money's in the list. You got to have a list of people.
It's all data today.
If you don't have that list that you're staying in contact with people, I call it the cardinal rule of business. If you're not staying in touch with the people, that somebody else is staying in touch with them, right? And so you do a great job of keeping people informed and
Spirit of influence.
Yeah, and just. I just add, so if you want on my Way Cool Friends list, if you want to be considered for inclusion, give me a call and we'll talk about it. But I really appreciate you having me here. I enjoyed talking to you. Like I say, when you called me a few days ago, I didn't even know what the heck I was coming out here for.
That's the best way to do it.
It's like, Richard, okay, I'll do it. What are we going to do?
We'll figure it out when you get
Yeah,
here.
but I found out it involves talking, so I'm like, yeah, I'm in. But I appreciate it. How do people get a hold of you?
You can reach us at 832-957-7987 for any of your Katy, Fulshear, Richmond, Texas real estate needs. Or if you just want advice and have a couple questions, we're just here to help. Or if you want to come out to one of our fundraisers or community events, we'd love to see you and have you. Anything else you want to add before we wind down?
I've enjoyed being here always. You do a great job. Every time I hear your name, I smile. I'm like, yeah, he's out there selling all those houses. And I just hope you're saving all your money. What are you on your third island now or fourth?
All I got left to do is finish.
Well, I tell people, I was talking to them the other day, I obviously don't have all this figured out or I wouldn't be standing here talking to you, But no, we're all, I think if you're, as Roy Clark said, if you're not having fun, you're doing something wrong.
That's correct.
So I like the fact you like to have fun. I like to have fun. And so I appreciate you inviting me.
All right, well, perfect. Well, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks.
Bye-bye.